Hey guys, welcome to another Hunter video, and today I am running normal Utgarde Keep, and I am soloing this instance. I have my Tenacity pet with me, along with very high stamina gear, and I have a special spec just for Hunter tanking. And I'll post these links of the specs and everything else that I use in the sidebar. So, as you see here, I'm casting misdirect onto my pet, and then I am going forward and grabbing a large number of mobs, and his Thunderstomp will keep them all in place. So then what I'm using right now is an add-on called Need to Know, and I showed you this add-on in my last video of the Hunter macros, and this is going to be a very important macro just so that you never forget to cast Mend Pet at all times. And Mend Pet is something that you need to have up all the time once you're fighting. Some other skills that you need are Freezing Arrow, and that's just a CC ability which allows you to just keep some enemies out of your way. Say if you have 4 to tank, you don't want to tank all 4 because you might not survive, so take 1 out and you have 3. Deterrence is something very important, which I'll tell you about in a later boss fight. Bestial Wrath, something else very important, should be saved at certain times. As you see here, I just used a Freezing Arrow. Shadow Meld and Feign Death, which is great to prevent yourself from dying and just allow your pet to go, and then you can revive him. And as I mentioned already, Misdirect, which is also going to be very important to you. Now, as a Hunter tank right now, I am in mostly stamina gear, and my mana takes quite a beating. Oh, and here I'm fighting a list of a number of ads, and these guys cast some spells, and a tranquility shot or tranquilizing shot is really good for these guys, just so that you can take care of the extra damage or extra defense that they have. So for this boss, I send my pet off, obviously make sure you misdirect, and once the ads all come, Feign Death, and the ads will actually go away into that little doorway there, and they will stay there. And then all you have to do is DPS the boss, and make sure you also have Mend Pet up at all times. Something you need to know is that this guy will cast Frost Tomb onto you, and Frost Tomb, it's a big damage tick onto your health, and so you either have to get your pet to break it, but if you have Bestial Wrath up, then this is where you need to use it. You cast it, and it'll break the Ice Tomb, and you'll be able to continue fighting. And when you cast Bestial Wrath, you usually be able to get away from 2 of these Ice Tombs. As you just saw, I just used my pet to use Taunt and taunt the boss off of me when I pulled aggro. And this is something very important to know if you're a Hunter tank or a solo Hunter. And there are a few things that you need to make sure you have here. One is bandages, food and drinks, and potions if possible, but not necessary. But they're for the oh crap moments, and they really can't hurt. And so another thing you need to take care of is make sure you are very good with your mana, because you don't want to be low on mana and your Mend Pet is not working, or you don't have it up, and that could be very dangerous because your pet dies, you die. And here, to pull these guys, all you have to do is misdirect, send your pet in, and then just volley everything down. Since my pet is a Crocolisk pet, it really helps because I have Bad Attitude, which attacks everything that is attacking the pet, and so it gives me to keep a little extra aggro. So you might be wondering why I'm even in Utgarde Keep. Well, right now I am a Hunter, and I am a tank, a healer, and a DPS all in one. And this is a lot of thinking, a lot of multitasking, and it's also a lot of fun. Just to have this much power, you can't feel more epic than being every single role in the game and soloing everything that used to take you 5 other people to complete just by yourself. So I definitely recommend every hunter to at least try this once. And this is not really that impressive. This is only a level 70 instance, but it is a Northrend instance, and I'll try to run more and more of these instances, trying to get into higher and higher level of instances and see how far I can get with my current build. And for these guys coming up, you really got to note that you need to know who needs to go down first. Like for this guy, the Ritualist has to go down first because he does cast that that shield buff as well as another damage buff, which you need to either tranquilize shot whoever is buffed on, and also take that person down, or take that mob down as quick as possible. And so I'm coming up near the second boss, and the second boss is actually very tricky. It's not how you usually would fight, and I'll show you why. So I'm just gonna send my pet in, and for this I just use a regular food buff with 40 stamina, and my pet with a pet buff or pet food buff that gives my pet 30 strength and 30 stamina. And so my first attempt at this boss, I just went at him head on, and with this boss, the caster here actually attacks you, and attacks you only. So this really isn't going to work because I'm going to die very soon, and even though I did take him a little bit down, I have to take care of both bosses. So let me try again. So in the end, after about, I think this is like the 8th or 9th try, I finally found a way to take this guy down, or these two guys down. I first make sure I am out of range, at least 45 yards away from the bosses, and then send my pet in, and make sure I have men pet at all times. And then I walk towards up to 45 yards or 44 yards, and then cast men pet whenever it is finished. And what I do is let my pet do all the attacking. And so I have to pop Beast of Wrath and all my trinkets just to maximize the DPS. And when I do walk within 45 yards of the two bosses, the caster will start focusing on you and start casting on you. And this is actually exactly what you want, because the caster will stop attacking your pet and it will start attacking you. And so that's where deterrence comes in, because when you pop deterrence at the right time, you could mitigate 2 of his little bolts that come at you, which hit for about 2,000 damage. And so when your pet is low on health, or is close to low on health, and you have a little bit of health to spare, then walk up to 45 yards, heal your pet, and then take a few hits from the caster. And then when you're back, just use a bandage, and then bandage yourself up and rinse and repeat. And you have to try to make sure you get these two bosses down at the same time. If you don't get it down at the same time, the other boss have to be at a very low health, or else you're kind of screwed and you just wasted a lot of time. And so after a lot of tries, finally take this boss down. It'll take quite a bit of practice, so it's kind of tricky. For these guys, make sure you take down the Spiritualist first, because she is the healer, and you always want the healer down first. Whenever you have these wolf ads, just AoE them down with volley, because they do have low health and they go down pretty quickly, and that is a bunch of DPS that your pet doesn't have to take. So here we go, almost towards the end of the boss, or the end of the instance, the last boss. Now for the last boss, you're gonna have to be very careful, because the first phase of the last boss is fairly easy. It's pretty much just a burn down. Make sure you also use Tranquility Shot to get rid of those stacks of Enrage that he has, so that your pet doesn't take extra damage. And obviously make sure men pet isn't always up. Now here, when this angel or thingy is trying to resurrect the boss, you can feign death and then drink. So this is a great trick for hunters. here he will throw his axe around and it'll follow you. Make sure you get out of the axe's way because it does massive damage. And also, whenever he does a dark smash, I didn't do it here, but it's best to stay behind a pillar and get out of line of sight. And that's it. I just soloed normal Utgarde Keep. Now again, I'll have all the information that I have, my build, my spec, and everything in the sidebar. So check that out. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching, and take care. Till next time.